many great people from the Windrush generation that you've heard from here. So I'm delighted that on a glorious sunny day that we could be also raising the flag, raising the standard, and recognising the great pioneering work that we all owe a debt to the Windrush generation. So first of all, I'd like to bring in a former Sheriff and Lord Mayor of Nottingham, Melita Bryan, who's going to say a few words about her reflection on the importance of Windrush Day.
Perfect. Yeah, we're okay.
Sharon.
Hi, my father came to England about 65 years ago with a great expectation of earning a good living and enjoying the fruits of the British Empire. When he came, he had to face quite a lot of discrimination and challenges, particularly in housing. People not wanting to give him somewhere to live, but despite that, he managed to find somewhere to live. It wasn't the best. He worked in the pits. He worked in the factories that were producing coal pots. But because of his struggles in housing, I decided that I would try and address that. So to do my father proud as a Windrush member of society, I set up Nottingham Housing Association, and that enabled people from different cultures and different backgrounds to access decent social housing so that his generation and the generations after wouldn't have to suffer in trying to access good quality housing. So that was something that I did as an inspiration from my father who came here in the 60s.
I'm delighted to introduce Reverend Monsieur from the Pilgrim Church, who's also been leading in the campaign to celebrate Windrush and to support them in their cause for justice. Reverend Mark.
Hello everyone, happy Windrush Day. I'm here to wave my flag to the Windrush generation. Say hats off to the Windrush generation. We're standing on their shoulders. When they came and answered that call to help rebuild our NHS, to help rebuild the country after the war, they demonstrated strength of character. They demonstrated ambition and purpose. They gave us values which we are proud of, family values, the strength of love, and of course their undying faith. And today this whole city of Nottingham are celebrating their achievements. The flag is raised because all of us, not just the descendants of the Windrush generation, but our whole city, recognise their contribution. And we're so grateful to them, we're grateful to God, and we want to carry on the great work that they've done. Happy Windrush Day. God bless you.
Great. So, just to say, we're still recording? No.
We can be.
We can be. We're still live.
We're live.
We're live. Just to say that today is part of the celebration of a number of activities in Nottingham that are happening. I'm delighted that we will be doing a little bit of a Windrush walk now, and we're going to be heading off down towards the Binks Yard, and that's quite a significant area because at the Binks Yard we will be having a special gospel service there tomorrow. It's open and free for anyone to come along at 2:30. So we're going to go down there and just say hello to everyone who's around there at the moment and share with them about why today is significant. A bit like what we're doing at the moment here in the Market Square. And leaving from there, we will be then heading towards the new Central Library in Nottingham, because there we're very privileged to host a special exhibition known as the Front Room Exhibition. This exhibition will be there for a week, and in that exhibition it's going to have all those wonderful replica items that represent the Windrush generation, the gram, the porcelain dishes, all those items, you know, those pictures on the walls that we would see, Christ the Unseen Guest. So if you are in Nottingham, get down to the new Central Library as you're heading towards the train station, and you'll be able to see that exhibition. It's on there for a week. Don't miss out on that. But I just want to remember also that today is a very day of remembering the contribution. It's also important to recognise that today wouldn't have happened if the Windrush scandal didn't happen. And the Windrush scandal was an incident, and sadly it's still ongoing, where people were wrongly classified as illegal. They were wrongly deported, wrongly detained, wrongly denied access to services. And the government as a result did a number of things, and one of the things that they did was to recognise Windrush Day, where we can celebrate the contribution. But it's important to mention that as we enter into an election, that we use our vote to ask those political leaders what are they doing to help the Windrush generation as a result of the scandal. So I want to encourage you to do that. And we are also part of the Windrush National Organisation, an organisation that is made up of people around the UK who are campaigning and ensuring that people who have been wrongly treated get their justice. And we have developed a 12-point ask that you can ask any MP to say to them, are you backing these points, and what are you going to do to support and help the Windrush generation as a result of the Windrush scandal? If you want more information about those points, do log on to our website, which is the windrushnatiorganisation.org, and you can get a free PDF of that particular 12-point plan. One of the things that we're calling for is that there is more legal support for people to get their compensation, and also that we have the reconciliation events so that people can air their grievances, and also we can hear their stories of how they've suffered in front of people who could make decisions. Well, I do hope wherever you are that you take a moment to acknowledge and to celebrate the extraordinary contribution of the Windrush generation. You know, we're standing on their shoulders, and keep watching this stream, because we're going to do a little bit of a walk and talk, and we'll be heading off now, and you'll get to hear some people who are with us who can share their stories, and we're going to be doing that shortly. So thank you for staying tuned today. What a sight.
So we're here live at the Market Square.
Together for a photo shoot. Have a look at the camera.
It's live now. Live. We're also here live. Can you hear me? So if you just joined us live on YouTube, we're here at the Market Square. It is just gone 12:30 and we're celebrating National Windrush Day 2024. We've got Reverend Clive Foster, MBE, who's just unveiling the flag. Here's his microphone. That's live.
Great, so we're out in the Market Square. I just want to do a little bit of a walk so you can get in view this fantastic flag. And some of our colleagues who are with us are going to be with me. What's really important is that as we're here in the Market Square on Windrush Day, it really is to acknowledge that we have a shared history, but the Windrush generation have done so much, in Nottingham in particular, in the factories. Boots, Plessy, Raleigh, the NHS. And I'm walking down here because I want you to see behind me the panoramic view of the iconic Council House building. A building which has had many people on that balcony. Statesmen, stateswomen, royalty, footballers who won the FA Cup, footballers who won the European Cup. Just yesterday we had so many wonderful people from the Windrush generation in that building. And as you can see behind me, the flag is being raised to celebrate their extraordinary contribution to our city and to the wider UK. You know, my own mother worked in the NHS, my own father worked in the mines and worked at the factories. And we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the labour of love of the Windrush generation. We have to keep this moving. And I want to make an appeal to our younger generation and descendants. You're not here on your own. You don't have a history behind you. You know, it's really important that we take steps to honour and celebrate the contribution of our forefathers and foremothers. And today is a day where we're doing that. Not just today, but we should be doing that always, you know, 365, you know, every day of the year, as it were. I am very privileged to know so many people who have given so much, taken very little, but given so much. And today we're saying thank you to the awesome contribution of the Windrush generation. And there's the flag flying high. The flag says, we're standing on their shoulders. A flag which has a triangular shape, recognizing the transatlantic journey and the history of the Windrush generation. We are here because you were there. God bless the Windrush generation.
Reverend Clive, welcome to the Market Square. Can I just introduce our co-presenter who's going to be joining us on the walk, Jory Jan, who's here. I'm going to give her a microphone and we'll be having a bit of conversation and some questions regarding today and why it's so special, okay? Hand you over.
Thank you so much. Reverend Clive, lovely to meet you.
Thank you, Zoe.
Now, you've spoken very eloquently about the symbolism of the flag and what this means to us as a generation, but what does this mean to you personally?
Well, to me personally, it is important to remember that my own family history emerges from the Windrush generation.
Yeah.
So for me personally, it's very significant because part of the story of the Windrush generation is also about family separation.
Yeah.
You know, my own sister never came over from Jamaica. She stayed in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And as a result of that call out that the British government made after World War II, that separated a lot of families.
Yeah.
You know, and personally for me, that is a story which I guess it's not until the Windrush scandal broke and we're talking more about the Windrush generation that as a community we're talking more about and the effects that had. So, that was a sad thing for me in a way because I didn't have that kind of a relationship with my sister, and that story for me personally can be replicated across. The good thing is, because my sister stayed in Jamaica, I have more than a good excuse to go to Jamaica to see her, But also as well, I'm in my own local church. I'm part of a congregation, mainly from the Windrush generation.
Yeah.
And unlike my own parents, I've seen my own parents kind of struggle and effort that they've made, and I've seen that replicated in our wider community. So for me personally, I'm in a community surrounded by the wisdom, the love, the care, and the traditions of the Windrush generation.
Beautiful. And we know that the Windrush generation now are in their 60s, 70s, 80s and older.
Yes.
Many of whom have passed. How important is it, do you think, that our generation, the younger generation, maintains this celebration?
I think it's vital, Zuri, because as I mentioned earlier, one of the reasons why we have Windrush Day is as a result of the appalling treatment that people were subjected to as a result of the Windrush scandal.
Yeah.
And what it has emerged, as it were, from the ashes, like a phoenix, is actually the story of the contribution. And there's an important saying that many of our Windrush generation are saying, and I agree with them. They don't want to be defined by the scandal.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want to be recognised rightfully and honoured in their own right.
Yeah.
And that right is one of contribution, of hard work, of sacrifice, of building up the economy of the city and the country. So for that reason, that's why I think it's important that the younger generation and the wider community understands the story.
Yeah.
And if one thing that we can emerge from the debacle of the Windrush scandal is a better understanding of the contribution that the Windrush generation has made.
Yeah.
And I think young people now, in the age of getting information, in the age of understanding your identity and your history, I think this story needs to be part of the ongoing story of who we are as a people.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's really important for young people, because I do think for a lot of young people, identity is a big thing now. Who am I? Where am I coming from? And our history and the history from the Windrush generation is a part of that story. And I think the more that the young people can own that, celebrate that, I think the more self-esteem I think it will bring as well.
Okay, so that's beautiful. And we're going to be walking and talking. We're going to be going to Bink's Yard and the library. Yeah. What can we expect there?
Yeah. Well, I think first of all, we need to make sure that our colleagues who are walking with us know that we're actually going to be walking, because we seem to have drifted off from them. And let me just give them a quick shout. Just put your ears over. Hey guys, we're going to start the walk. Yeah, we're going to start the walk now. I really hope that someone has got my bag. Let me just check. Oh yeah, someone's got my bag, yeah. So, we're going to walk and talk. And we're going to head up to we've got 2 destinations on this walk. Yeah, it's all walk and talk now, guys. So Zuri, it's a couple of stops that we're doing.
Yeah.
I think what we wanted to do on Windrush Day is to have a kind of a nice, relaxed gathering of a coming together.
Yeah.
And to acknowledge Windrush Day in a way that can be accessible for anyone.
Yeah.
You know, so a little bit of a walk and a talk is a way of doing that. And we had a fantastic day yesterday, a lovely service.
I was there.
Yeah,
It was
you were
amazing.
there. We had an amazing service at the Civic service at the council house. And then afterwards, we went on a boat cruise, you know, the river boat cruise. And, you know, we had fantastic music from a local DJ.
I was shaking my foot.
I had an elder on Facebook saying that, you know, although they couldn't shake up and get up, they were sitting on their chair and they were shaking
They
their
were
leg.
feeling it. They
You
were
know.
definitely feeling it.
And you know what? For me, that was really nice. What was a real blessing for me is to seeing our elders enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
You know, just having a good
Yeah.
time. That we're getting up and dancing. Far better dancers than me, I may quickly add.
You're too modest, Reverend Foster. Far too modest.
And so this walk is just a nice way of actually coming together. So our first stop, I think the walking and talking is a way of just building relationships as
Yeah.
well, and just coming out together. Nothing too strenuous and nothing too forced, as it were. And so our first stop will be going towards a part in Nottingham known as the Binks Yard. It's in an area known as the Island Quarter,
Yeah.
a new complex that they're designing in Nottingham with hotels and some housing. It's near the BBC Radio Nottingham stations are there. But we're going there to sort of say hello to the patrons, and they've got a nice stage there.
Yeah.
And on that stage, they've got a fantastic video wall, which is one of the largest outdoor video walls. It's an outdoor complex.
Yeah.
And we're going to just go there and say hello. And one of the reasons why we're going to the Binks Yard is because tomorrow, Sunday, we're going to be having a gospel unity concert.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, so it gives us a chance to sort of say, if you're here today on Saturday, you can come back tomorrow as part of Windrush Celebration Weekend.
Yeah.
And we're going to be having a fantastic array of gospel singing. And actually it's a time to give thanks for the Windrush generation. It's also a time just to come out and enjoy ourselves. There's going to be Caribbean food there as well.
So people, you've heard that. You can come and get your belly fed.
Yeah.
And what else is going to be happening?
So in that tomorrow at the gospel service, just to finish that off, we're going to have the first part is going to be a little bit of a Thanksgiving, and then we'll have the concert. But on our walk today, coming back to our walk today, after we've gone to the Binks Yard,
Yeah.
we're going to be walking towards the new Central Library in Nottingham,
All right.
which is if you haven't been there, I would recommend you to check it out. It's a lovely place. It's near towards the train station, back one end of Broadmarsh,
Yeah.
near the train station end. And in the library,
Yeah.
we're delighted to have a exhibition. It's the front room exhibition.
Okay, so just explain that, because I know what you mean by the front room exhibition or the front room,
Yeah,
but a lot of people won't. So
yeah.
what does that actually
Great,
mean?
yeah. So as part of our West Indian tradition, the front room was a very sacred
Yeah.
place in the house. And, it was like the inner temple, the Holy of Holies.
The inner temple.
And most of that generation would have a front room where they would have special set out and laid out the settees, the tables, the crockery in the cabinet,
Yes,
which was never used unless the Queen turned up.
that's right. And even if the Queen turned up, and I doubt that they'd be taken
I
out.
remember the golden cups, and I'd never seen anyone drink out of those cups. There were ornaments as it were, but and there was the different pictures on the wall, like behold I stand at the door and knock, picture
Yes.
of the unseen guest. But, so the front room was the place where you weren't allowed to go into, as a child, unless family came and visitors, and then it was the exception. So, and it held like many memories there,
Yeah.
for the Windrush generation, and always kind of carpeted and decorated, it seemed, in the same type of style. but it was a place of importance,
Yeah.
a place of like honor within the home, a place where special things were placed
Yeah.
that meant something, and a place that was looked after in a way that was more different, I guess. And so, and there were certain artifacts that we can all sort of relate to.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be displayed at the Central Library as part of an exhibition. So there'll be replica items, whether they were like the porcelain fish, you know, and all those kind of things. And that's going to be great to see all those items as part of an exhibition. And so they've created like an actual front room.
That's amazing.
And the Central Library are going to be displaying that as part of the work and Windrush Day. And that exhibition is going to be on for a week.
Oh, so that's brilliant because
Yeah.
it gives people an opportunity to come, observe, even if they can't come today, you can come down
Yes, very much
and
so.
observe the front room.
Yes.
And that's going to
I think this
resonate
probably
with
is
a lot of
yeah,
people.
I'm just checking my bearings. Yeah, so we're just heading into a nice area of Nottingham known as Hockley. Some of you may be familiar with this, the Hockley area. I think it's an area, it's a bit, kind of a has some resurgence, I would say,
Yeah.
an activity, and so we're just entering into that as we make our way towards the big yard. Yes, so that exhibition is really important. And again, what you were talking about, this question about history and young people, I think this is a really good opportunity to engage and hear and find out
Yeah.
about what these things meant and why is it important, and that local history is now in Nottingham, and where anyone can come now and explore and hear about the Windrush generation through this type of exhibition.
Yeah, because things like the front room are, when you think about it, it's a unifying point for Caribbean people of that generation. You know,
Yes.
everyone has that, of that generation, has that in common. And I'm not sure whether there are still the same unifying points for the younger generation.
Yeah, that's a great point, Zuri. And I think this is one of the things that I'm really concerned about in terms of where are people gathering, where they can come together and feel connected, as it were.
Yeah.
And perhaps that's part of the conversation that we need to be having
Yeah.
within our communities, and the kind of ownership that the younger generation should be having. Yes, I know we're now obviously much more multi-diverse,
Yeah.
and I think that's a great thing. But I think there's something about that kind of a history where we're coming from as a people and having an identity for that.
Yes,
In some
yeah.
kind of space. I think that's just as important,
Yeah.
you know, in terms of that concept.
And that leads me to think about legacy and how we record, really, our culture, our history. You're very much involved in doing works relating to the Windrush generation
Yeah.
and the Windrush scandal. But how do we as a community ensure that the next generation and the generation that follows remembers the contributions of this really important generation?
Yeah, I think that's a great question again, and I think it's got to emerge from the young people.
Yeah.
We're in the age of mankind that mankind were dreaming of technology
Yeah.
and information, and there are many creative ways in which we can capture information now
Yeah.
and share information, and I think that's going to be important. It's really strange actually, because when you think about it, because we have really rapidly moved into this kind of a technological age, some of that generation of kind of, I feel, have been a little bit displaced.
Yeah.
You know, they can't. I mean, you must know. We all know this. You can't do anything now unless you can get onto a phone, or
Yeah.
unless you've got to send an email or click
Yeah.
on. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know how senior citizens manage, because if you want to do anything simple now, it's almost like you've got to be able to click, swipe, to do anything. So I'm very concerned about that. But going about in terms of history, I think archiving and using the digital space to do that.
Yeah.
I think, and I've seen this as someone who is currently working at a university. I've seen there's a lot of interest in young people who want to do journalism around the Windrush generation, to hear the stories. Want to use that now much more as a subject matter.
Yeah.
And going back to what you were saying as well, it's good to see people, descendants from the Windrush generation, the younger ones who are sort of connecting with that now.
Yeah.
And seeing, actually, no, perhaps my role is to actually record the stories.
Yeah.
My role is to create some kind of digital presence. My role is to kind of share it through the social media. My role is to be an advocate.
Yeah.
And to talk about the problems that they've had. My role is to recognize that there are still injustices.
Yeah.
And what that means. And I think Gen Z, as it were, have a great opportunity to land this in so many ways. And I think the creative arts are another way where we can do this as well.
Yeah.
I think we come from a very artistic tradition. And I think things like the arts, music, drama are still ways in which we can creatively demonstrate our contribution. I'm really pleased to see so many things that are happening in Nottingham, like plays are coming to Nottingham now that are talking about the Windrush generation, and people from that generation who were obviously writing and designing and implementing stuff. So that's nice to see. And I think if we can keep that alive, but it's got to emerge, I think. We've got to allow the space for it to be done in a way which means something to that generation.
Yeah. You know what, Reverend Foster? I'm going to go and speak to some of them from that generation now and see what their thoughts are on this important topic. So we're on our way now. I think we haven't got that much longer to walk. I'm not going to say I'm tired, but I'm getting there. but I'm going to speak to some of the people behind us. I'd like to, if you don't mind, because you're of the younger generation.
I'm not.
But you look very young. So, your name is?
I'm Mark Stewart, one of the pastors in the city.
And can I ask you what this event means to you?
Well, I think for me personally, being here on the streets of Nottingham, being able to come together as communities from across the different nations of the Commonwealth to stand on the shoulders of the Windrush generation, that is absolutely amazing. My mum worked in Raleigh, which was one of the big employers in the city, and a lot of people from the Windrush generation worked in Raleigh and built an amazing sense of community. And that community that they built together with their faith, the values that they had and have passed on to us in terms of hard work, being industrious, caring for their families, making sure that their true values all come and converge in this day, at this point, where we, their children and their children's children, stand together and say the work that they have done has meaning and significance, not only for us, but for the whole nation. And Britain wouldn't be what Britain is today without their contribution. And it's only right that their contribution is acknowledged and celebrated, not only by us, but by the entire nation, because it's absolutely amazing. And so today means so much to me. It's joyful, it's tinged with sadness because of the suffering that the Windrush generation went through and because of the Windrush scandal. But it also demonstrates that when we stand together as communities we can overcome the challenges
Yeah.
that are presented before us, and we can accomplish real social and political change.
Yeah.
And so today is a fantastic day, and I'm glad that there are other cities around the country who are coming together and celebrating as we are.
That's beautiful. And you're part of the church,
Yes.
and I know that the church was instrumental in
Yeah.
educating people, the community, about the Windrush
Yeah.
scandal.
Yes, absolutely.
So would you mind just speaking about the significance of the church in that regard?
Yeah, of course. Before the Windrush scandal broke out, for many years, we were seeing in the church people who were having challenges with their immigration status, and would often be writing letters and working on their behalf with the authorities.
Yeah.
And then when the Windrush scandal broke, I remember having a conversation with Reverend Clive, and we said, this is our struggle. This is something that we've got to take on. It's our people.
Yeah.
And so Reverend Clive made an announcement in that Sunday service, just to say if anyone had been impacted by it, just to let us as the ministers know after the service. And from there we birthed our response, which was to say we are offering pastoral support as well as legal support in fighting for justice for those who've been affected by the Windrush scandal.
Yeah.
And then out of that we set up sessions where we had legal experts who volunteered their time to come to the church alongside with pastors and members of the community to help people. And firstly, we were hearing their stories.
Yeah.
And it was very difficult for people to share their story because of the fear of coming into the spotlight
Yeah.
and being targeted by the authorities as a result. So we had to work with the Home Office to get assurance that those who came and were part of the work that we were doing wouldn't be targeted. And those assurances were given and made good, which is fantastic. And then the relationship with the authorities was built out of those sessions. We invited HMIC to come to the church to reach people who their campaigns couldn't reach because they were hard to find.
Yeah.
And because our community trusted the church, they were more comfortable to come to events that were held and hosted
Yeah.
by the church. And so we began to see that the church was able to play a link between the authorities and the community, those who were impacted. Once we helped people to create the Windrush lessons learned and the compensation scheme, Reverend Clive again was instrumental
Yeah.
in working with Wendy Williams and with Michael Forbes
Yeah.
QC in those respective areas. Once we're able to get those responses in place, we're then able to help people to get their claims made and to believe that they would get a response because of the claim that they were making. Many people thought it wasn't worth it, but
Yeah.
we worked with them and told them that if they or their children had a legitimate claim, they could then get the compensation that they were entitled to.
Yeah.
And this scheme was the first time where such an injustice was recognised, and the considerations that were put into the scheme were also used as learnings for when we left the EU, so that members of the EU who, because of Brexit,
Yeah.
were leaving the country wouldn't be faced with wouldn't be faced with the same kind of challenges
Yeah.
that the Windrush community had. And so the church was instrumental in working with our communities, those who were hard to reach, those who felt disenfranchised, those who were, because of the hostile environment that existed at
Yeah.
the time, unable to access services, to visit loved ones. We had stories of people who couldn't leave the country to go to funerals of their loved ones,
Yeah.
and fear of deportation or not being allowed re-entry into the country. And so we had to support many people through those challenges. And it took a big emotional, mental well-being toll on many individuals. And that was where we were able to support pastorally individuals and help them to overcome the difficulties that they've experienced. And so it's been a long journey to get to where we are today, but it's been a very worthwhile journey. And I'm so pleased that many people across the community have joined with the church to help to continue waving the flag for the Windrush generation, to join with us in that fight for justice and compensation, and to see our next generation taking on the values that the Windrush generation had.
So this is real church activism, activism in practice.
Absolutely, social action, and you know, I'm so pleased that Reverend Clive has held that banner high, and he's building on the shoulders of people like Reverend Canon Weaver, CBE, who has done so much in this city in introducing the first equality policy for Nottingham City, and working with the police to help them to understand how to work with black communities and minority communities, and representing the social challenges, poor housing, so many challenges in terms of immigration, that the church has a history of championing and working with authorities to make the situation better for our people.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
And for everyone listening, come and join us. We're still walking. We're about to approach, where are we approaching now?
BBC Island.
BBC Island. So come and join us. And I'm gonna speak to some of the younger people because I want to get their perspectives. And let's see who I can find. I can see a beautiful young lady. That I want to, she's trying to hide, but I'm going to. Your name is?
Rachel.
Rachel. Don't be shy, Rachel. You're in safe hands. Lovely to meet you. So, Rachel, why are you, so you're quite young.
Yes.
And so, why are you here on this walk? For this Windrush event?
So I'm here because I want to support, everything that's gone on with the Windrush generation. Just to say that I'm here to stand with you, and because also I'm Caribbean myself. My origin is from the Caribbean.
Okay.
Yeah, just to stand in support of everything that's going on.
And why is that important to you?
I guess just to raise awareness. You know what I mean? We're here to raise awareness. We're here doing this walk. We've got these flags. We're showing people that we're here, and that we want freedom, and that things need to change. And you know, the only way that things are going to change is if you take a stand and you be present. I mean, I heard somebody earlier saying, you know, they wish that more people could come out and support, and I do too. You know what I mean? Because the more people come out and show up, the more we raise attention, the more looks we get, the more people question what's going on, and we can tell them about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and it's interesting that you've talked about the injustices that generation has faced, and you've linked it to injustices of your generation.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the connection there between your experiences as a person of Caribbean descent in comparison to, I suppose, your grandparents' experiences?
I think, well, can I speak about racism? I mean,
of course.
I think racism is still very much active today. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And although it may not be as blatant, you know what I mean, there's still things that we encounter as black people, and that we're still wanting freedom from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to go into all of the specifics, if I'm very honest, but I will say that it's still a continual fight for freedom for black people like myself today, and that it's something, although it's gotten better, we still need to fight for. Okay. Maybe I needed that.
So, yeah, you were saying, go on.
Yeah. Although there's, it may not be as blatant today, but there's still things that young people today are having to fight for.
Yeah.
And just hoping to raise awareness
And
of that.
when you hear the saying that we stand on the shoulders of giants, you know, when talking about the Windrush generation, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so straight away the first person that comes to mind my grandmother,
All right,
Mavis
beautiful.
Comrie. Amazing lady. You know, people like them that have paved the way for us to be here and to do the things that we're able to do today.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't say, well, I didn't come off the boat, like I'm not part of that Windrush generation, but I'm a descendant of the Windrush generation.
Yeah.
And they have done for us what, you know, they've worked so that we will be able to, so that we're able to do the things that we are able to do today.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So, yeah, I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have been able to have this much freedom if it wasn't for the Windrush generation. So I can only stand up for, you know, the right that they deserved. You know.
Yeah. So there's
Yeah.
a real appreciation
Yeah.
there. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And do you think that a lot of young people feel that way?
I honestly think we could appreciate them more.
Yeah.
I think this generation is very much about the present and not too fussed about the past. But I can only say that doing more events like this, you know, this walk, this raising of the flag on the council house,
Yeah.
the event that we're having tomorrow at Binks Yard.
Yeah.
We can only do things like this to raise awareness of the things that have happened in the past, so that we will appreciate them more,
Yeah.
so that they will know that if it wasn't for them, then we wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
No worries.
So we're moving now onto Binks Yard. There's going to be a reggae festival here later on. And we're going to have some speakers. And then after the speakers, we're going to be walking to the library for the exhibition. So the weather has kept up really well for us. It's been a fantastic day thus far. Yesterday was amazing, and it looks like the ancestors are looking over us and looking out for us. And I'm going to speak to some other individuals and get their take on the day's events, starting with Mr. Jeremy Prince.
Hello, how you doing, Joey?
I'm so good. How are you, Mr. Jeremy Prince?
It's fantastic being in this company. I feel really, really blessed.
Well,
I don't know who thrusted this microphone in front of me.
Well, you should have the microphone. So, for those who don't know Jeremy Prince is the living embodiment of a community activist. So, Jeremy Prince doesn't just talk the talk. He walks the walk. And I'm not just talking about the walk that we're walking.
Yeah, we're on the walk and talk now, aren't we? So this is living testimony that we're doing the right thing.
So Jeremy is heavily involved in these events, a lot of the community events that take place in Nottingham, nearly far over there, so excuse me, Jeremy is involved in. So Jeremy, come give me your take on what we're doing here.
Well, today really is part of the whole weekend Windrush celebrations in Nottingham.
Yeah.
And what's important about today is that we actually mark National Windrush Day, which today is, so since 2019, I'm going to say.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, we marked the 22nd of June as a National Windrush Day. So we wanted to represent the day by doing something active. And how active can you get from actually doing a walk and going through some of the sites of Nottingham, and we celebrate our Windrush pioneers. So what's great about where we are now, which is Binks Yard, is we are having a gospel unity concert here tomorrow. So anybody who wants to turn up, it's absolutely free. It's in this fantastic new facility which has been around with us for about 2 years now since it's been built. And we'll be having a gospel service and concert tomorrow, which is going to be fantastic. Now today, if you have a look at the video wall, you'll see that it's advertising a rum and a reggae festival. So that is happening today. I'm actually playing here later.
Okay.
I'm a DJ here. So I play here every Saturday. So this is my venue, one night in the week only. But what they have today is the Rum and Reggae Festival, and what's really important to note is that if it wasn't for the Windrush pioneers who came to this country from 1948 right through to 1971, we wouldn't be having a celebration like this. Now, when it opens at 2 o'clock today, it's going to be a full house. We're expecting nearly 2,000 people here.
Wow.
So it's completely full, and this will just be chaos, for want of a better word. But we've got some great acts. We've got V-Rocket here playing in the side over there in the container park over. We've got various DJs. We've got some of our community caterers who are going to be here, which we managed to get them down, like Clive McKenzie from Caribbean Flavours. So he's got a stall here. So it's going to be a fantastic party here. But the importance, really, I wanted to make that connection with National Windrush Day. Okay, if it wasn't for the Windrush pioneers, we would not be celebrating reggae music to such a scale in this country.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, I know we're going to have some speakers momentarily.
Yes. I don't know who the speakers are yet, but we're going in. It's a really informal kind of, just kind of going with the flow, really. So the important thing was that we start the walk. We looked at the flag earlier. We made our way to this venue here. I don't know if Reverend Clive knows if there's any speakers he's got lined up here. Reverend Clive, just come and join us for a second. Yeah. Have we got any other speakers who we're going to mention a few words here? I don't think we had anyone planned here, did we?
Not so much any speakers, but there will be an opportunity for people to share some storytelling. I know that we're going to be having Reverend Canon Christian Weaver, who's going to be there. Reverend Canon Christian Weaver is one of the first Black Justice of the Peace in Nottingham, who has done an exceptional amount of work with regarding to racial justice and equality in Nottingham. So he's also been honoured by the late Queen on 2 occasions. He's currently a CBE. Amazing history. Had a private invitation to meet with the Queen for dinner, and the Queen specially asked for him to sit next to her, and that was the case because she wanted to know about Antigua, where Reverend Weaver's from, and the Windrush generation, and that was a phenomenal kind of honour for him to have, and he's been a tremendous inspiration to the city and to many people, and myself included. So he'll be there, and he's always gives some really great words of counsel. And but I think the day is going to be a tremendous occasion just to give thanks.
And in terms of the artistry and the people who are going to be performing tomorrow here on this stage, who have we got lined up? Any notable names? You should be asking these questions, not me.
You're doing well. You're
doing very well, Jeremy. Yeah. So look, we've got Church of Joy Gospel Choir, which are going to be taking part, which I'm a part of. We've got Christ Citadel, which is a fantastic young group of guys and girls who got their own band and group that were singing. We've got Rachel Miller, who's a singer-songwriter. She's had her songs previewed on BBC Radio Nottingham through their shows there, so that's going to be exciting as well. And we've got Freddie Kofi. How can I forget Freddie Kofi?
How do you say it? Kofi or Kofi?
It's Freddie Kofi. Freddie Kofi and his wife told me off after the meeting yesterday.
What's Kofi? Coffee.
Says Clive, it's not Kofi, it's Kofi.
It's the same way we had this issue yesterday with pate and pate. There was a conversation about pronunciations at the council house yesterday at the Civic service.
Where you are and who you're with.
Yeah, if you're outside of Nottingham, it's pate. So Freddie Kofi, who's an MOBO Award nominee, singer-songwriter, written some great songs. Fantastic acoustic sound, gospel acoustic. He'll be there as well. We've also got Rob the Sax Stutchbury, who is a phenomenal saxophonist, and he'll be playing some beautiful tunes as well.
Let's walk around and look at the stage. Yeah. See the stage on here. Why are you doing? Carry on talking.
So And we've got one of the reasons why we wanted to do this as well. We did want to give an opportunity for local unknown gospel artists. I know you asked me who's going to be there and all that kind of stuff, but this is an opportunity in an awesome space. If you look behind me, it's a fantastic setup. I mean, it is top notch. And anyone who is in any kind of music business, this is a great stage to be performing on. And so we have a fantastic working opportunity here with the people who own this particular setup, and they're saying, we want to give it to the community, we want to give people the community a chance. And I think it's just thrilling that a local artist who's doing some gospel can actually have a fantastic professional setup behind them. One of the biggest video walls in the East Midlands, fantastic acoustics, and to get all that, and then you showcase your talent, brilliant.
Fantastic, Clive. Now, here we've got the legend himself, Mr. Nick Howdell, who's actually organising today's Rum and Reggae Festival. You're live on YouTube right now, hundreds of people viewing you. And
put
just
me on the spot here.
Well, you know, this is what you do best. You're a natural. Nick, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Nice to have you with us today. And I understand you're DJing in here later on for our after party.
That's right, but I'm a hard act to follow, you know, all these artists you've got today.
We're expecting a roadblock in there later on, so for everyone attending who may be watching this, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m, this man is in there.
Okay, so in terms of today, the Rum and Reggae Festival, what can we expect in terms of artists and atmosphere and vibes?
So we're kicking off with the Pantazi, I think that's how you pronounce it, the Pantazi steel drum band. Then we have got Iba Salah playing a solo set. We've got DJ Razor that's going to be playing some sort of some nice reggae, and then we're straight into the heavyweight stuff. We've got the Bob Marley Revival tribute band, which has been touring the UK, and then we finish with UB40 by Signing Out, which is another huge tribute act as well. So obviously full-on visuals. We've got entertainers, and should I also mention as well? Sorry, we also have some fire limbo dancers on here as well.
Melita, do you fancy doing some limbo dancing later?
So this is Arena 1, and then over there, which I don't know whether you've had a look over there yet, there's a lot of work going on over there at the moment. That is Arena 2. And basically we've actually built a stage into those freight containers over there, and we've actually got we've got the V-Rocket DJs, who you kindly recommended to me, the legends of reggae. We have a Bruno Mars tribute as well. We have another set from Iba Salah, and we've also got some reggae DJs over there. We've got food vendors, roaming entertainers, we've got a VIP area, fairground rides. So the whole site has really been maxed out. Yeah. Oh, we've got glitter, we've got merchandise, and lots of other things as well.
So was you aware it was National Windrush Day today as well?
I was, so it fell right really with the timing. All grateful to yourself, obviously, for some of the information that you gave us along the way. It's always good to work with you, Jez. And the timing couldn't have felt better, really, to be honest with you. And we've got some visuals to sort of celebrate the Windrush anniversary, which are going to be on the screen later.
That's fantastic.
And, and maybe you might be able to come and say a few words for us when the show gets rolling as well.
I might well do. We've got Zuri, she's our Oprah replacement. She's actually better than Oprah. She's got a microphone. Meet Nick.
Oh, we should know. Hello, Nick. Nice to meet you.
And we're trying to make the connection between National Windrush Day and reggae music in the UK. Absolutely. And we were saying it's you know, they're so instrumental, aren't they, Zuri?
Absolutely. I mean, personal story. My father came from Jamaica in 1950.
Wow.
6, I think it was 1955.
Okay, yeah.
And he created a sound system.
Okay.
It was called Count Dog.
Okay.
Because it was known as Dog.
Okay.
For reasons which I won't explain.
Right, okay.
But he had a sound system, massive speakers. I remember the speakers.
Okay.
And it had real significance. It wasn't just opportunity for Caribbean people to hear their music, because there weren't the venues then that would allow them access to play their music.
Yeah.
What used to happen was that because, again, the Windrush generation, because of the prejudices that they experienced, couldn't get mortgages.
Yeah, okay.
Banks wouldn't lend to them.
Okay.
So my dad would have house parties.
Right, okay.
And the setup would be people would pay.
Yeah.
And he would either get the money from the door.
Yeah.
And the owner or the occupier, should I say,
Okay.
would get the drinks money, or vice versa. And in that way, that's how many of the Windrush generation got money to pay deposits
Fantastic.
for houses.
Okay, that's a really interesting story.
So the significance of the music goes beyond entertainment. You know, there's
a means to acquire property.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully we do it proud today. Like I said, we've kind of we've gone all out really with the entertainment today. It's the first one we've done here. Binkshard's a fantastic venue. We're doing other events here as well. And as I said, I'm very privileged to have this man along the way with us. You know, so feel pretty sort of humbled really to be able to host this today.
Thank you so much, Nick. I know you got really busy, probably doing 101 things, splitting loads of plates. I'm going to let you crack on. Thank you so much, Nick.
Lovely to meet you.
I'll see you later. So that's great. So we've made the connection now with Reggae, Roman Reggae Festival and National Windrush Day, and that was really important for us to make that connection, I feel anyway.
Yeah, and I think it's somewhat the symbolic, isn't it, that we're celebrating something that has such cultural significance, cultural importance. I mean, the impact of reggae is worldwide on such a very important day.
I couldn't agree more. And if you want to hear some really serious, proper reggae, come to the Gospel Fest tomorrow here at the Binks Yard.
You're going to be dropping some foot claps.
I'm telling you, some of the choruses that we play, it's got a reggae rhythm to it, man.
I noticed you ignored that question.
And, you know,
if you're going to be dropping some foot tomorrow, Reverend Pastor.
It's all going to be the guitar playing and in the speaking. It's all going to be the speaking, man. I leave that to other people. So
tomorrow, watch out for Reverend Pastor on the dance floor, okay?
We're going to make our way to the Central Library.
To the Central Library, yeah. Exhibition. Let's do that.
Anyone want to say any remarks, any questions? You got any questions? Let's get you on. Let's get you on.
We're filming as well. We're journalists.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so we're just covering this event for. So Clive asked us to do this to cover.
Yeah.
To just show the importance of it, really spread that with the community of Nottingham. So we're here with CBJ magazine, sort of just sharing what's going on today.
Fantastic. And did you know much about National Windrush Day before?
I didn't know. No, not really. So got the information from Clive. He works with NTU Faith, and sort of just working with him has brought to light what the Windrush generation is, and it's been really great learning about it, about the history, particularly in Nottingham where we live.
Thank you. And Lisa?
Yeah, I knew a little bit, I think, just because I knew it was sort of interesting, really kind of profound, important time in history. But when the opportunity came up to do this, I thought, it should be great to sort of get involved in such a sort of profound, important kind of local event. So it's been good to learn even more.
You. And the most important question, which is better, NTU or the Uni of?
Oh man, thing about me is I've been to both.
Oh really?
You know? Yeah. Which makes it a kind of difficult decision.
Awkward for you.
Yeah. So far, I mean, I don't know. Both got their strengths.
Very wise. It is a very political answer. Politician, you're going to do well in politics. Right. So we reckon, Clive, I'm going to hand it back to Zuri actually. I don't want to be hijacking this.
Are we going to be making our way to?
Yeah, Central Library. Yeah. I think this is the access route, is it? 'Cause it looks like it's. Yes. Yeah. Right. Last stop.
Are we going?
Can we get out there? Yeah.
No, let's go through this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I think we're all going. Are we all going? Yeah.
Last stop, guys. Bus stop. I bet it's going to be really nice to the sound tonight, isn't it? Feeling all right, Paul?
The rocket are playing in the containers.
Oh, really?
Over there, yeah. He wants to speak to this gentleman here later. DJ Hot Wax, absolute legend. I've come back from the gym.
Yeah, we just talk about music and DJs. And we did it for the love of music. We know these fake people.
Hot Wax.
Yeah, we know these
This is DJ Hot Wax. He's absolutely a legend. He's one of my inspirations, actually. He got me into DJing, this guy. So, you're live on YouTube.
Am I live? Okay,
No
okay.
pressure. Here's your microphone. So, we're here celebrating, Leighton, National Windrush Day today. So, we're just making a connection between what's happening here today and National Windrush Day.
Okay.
And just wanted to know, get your take as a music person. Obviously, you know how important black music is and how our parents' generation introduced us to music. So do you just want to reflect on some thoughts or anything about the importance of a day like today?
Well, it's important because it makes you think about a lot of things. I mean, when we go back to early music, for instance, we're talking about the old grams. If you remember in the 60s,
the blue spots
and we used to have those old grams. And I remember my mum, we took out one of Bob Marley's first records, and it's called Small Axe.
Okay, I know Small Axe.
Yeah, before we got one there. So we used to play that on the gram. Yeah. And we used to, like every Sunday, you used to have your rice and chicken, and you had to have the little church music, like your little Grim Jim Reeves and stuff like that. Then afterwards, you play little Bob Marley and little Double Decker, all these original reggae tunes.
Of course.
So those are the kind of stuff we kind of brought up with.
Yeah.
So from the early reggae, early soul, like your Barry White, and you know, you had your Jacksons on one side, Earth, Wind and Fire. So we kind of grew up. So that's what kind of made me love music so much. And that's the kind of vibe I'm still into.
And you've got to be grateful and thankful to your parents' generation for that, for introducing that music.
Yeah, it wasn't for them. I wanted to go into the music. So I got it from an early age and I just stuck with it.
Brilliant.
You know.
Hot Wax, DJ Hot Wax. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your thoughts. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay,
you down to this later?
I'm just going to have a look around what's going on. I'm just walking by, just talk to some people.
Rum Reggae Festival here, yeah.
Okay, it looks good.
It is, yeah. We'll catch up soon anyway. Good to see you. Right. Oh gosh, here we go. Oh god, I'll sign your phone for you. Hang on. How you doing? So, this is Ben. You're live on YouTube, by the way. You're live on YouTube.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Jeremy Prince.
He's in charge of all the entertainment here at Big Show.
I do whatever Jeremy says. I do whatever Jeremy says I can do.
And that's not true at all.
Oh, Sir Clive is here as well. Showbiz royalty. Showbiz royalty.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, we're just National Windrush Day, just making that connection with that and this event here, and just, you know, tying up the knots.
So it's second year we're doing it here now, isn't it?
It is the second year. Can you remember last year with the gospel concert?
Fantastic, fantastic. Anything that Clive does is always fantastic, isn't it, Clive? And as soon as I said your name, the sun's come out.
I've noticed that. The sun really does shine on the righteous, doesn't it?
That's amazing. So what time does it start tomorrow? It's 2:30, right?
2:30, through till 6 p.m, and there might be a little bit of after music as well.
I know.
With the locals.
Great lineup. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Sorry for gate crashing.
No, that's fine. We're used to you hijacking.
I'm going to go and find a gold Sharpie so you can sign my phone. I've got to go. See you all tomorrow. Bye.
You're welcome. I'll sign your phone later. Right. Without further ado, we're going to make our way to the exhibition at the Central Library. Is that correct, Melita?
Yes, we're going to the newly built Central Library to see the wonderful display.
For those who don't know Melita, she was a former Sheriff of Nottingham and Lord Mayor of Nottingham. Is that right? Yeah. Both titles. So I really do feel honoured, and I don't know if do I curtsy, do I bow, what do I do?
Just stand there and talk to me.
Okay. Oh, well, we can walk. Well, let's walk to the Central Library then and see what this front room's all about, yeah? Okay. Zora, you good?
I'm good. I'm going to hijack Melita, if that's okay.
Yes. Let me take your bag if you want.
Thank you very much. He's such a gentleman.
You know, that's what
He's such a gentleman. So, Melita, I feel actually disrespectful just saying Melita because you've done so much for Nottingham. You've had, you know, such significant roles in the city. So, first of all, let me acknowledge that.
Thank you.
Thank you for your contributions.
It's a pleasure.
So, what does this day, Windrush Day, mean to you?
To me, I'll start with my parents, because my father came to the UK in 1960.
Okay.
And of course, my mother followed in 61, and little me in 62.
So you're a Windrush baby.
I'm a Windrush baby, which I didn't realise when they were talking about the Windrush. And I've seen some of the struggles that that generation has been through.
Yeah.
When I came to this country, my mother and father were living in one bedroom.
Yeah.
And my mother was pregnant with my young brother, who is now 60. He was born 63.
Right.
She was pregnant, so it was my mother, my father, and myself in one little bedroom. They just couldn't get anywhere to live.
Yeah.
And they lived there for quite a few years in this one room. My father worked, the only job that he had at British Gypsum for 20 years. And he got that job after being in the country a week.
Right.
And he lasted there 20 years until he was made redundant and went back to Jamaica. So I've seen the struggles, what those people have been through.
Yeah.
I've seen the demoralizing condition that they lived in. We lived in a tenant's house, and we lived on the second floor with the cooker on the landing was used by 2 different tenants.
Yeah.
And they had to put a penny in it to cook. And God help the one who did the last cooking and didn't replace that penny for the next person.
That was some cold chicken.
Oh my gosh, they would know about it. So, you know, and I've known all those generations. I've known lots of those older people now, no longer with us. And they went through a lot, my auntie included. My auntie told me the story of when she came to this country, because she came before my dad. And she told me the story. In Jamaica, my auntie was like a princess.
Yeah.
She had people, the family just adored her. And she was a dressmaker. And she came to this country, and the first job that she got in a machining factory, she said she thought she was going to do machining. And when she turned up on the Monday morning, the lady gave her a brush to tell her to go and sweep the floor. She was devastated.
Yeah.
So those are the conditions that people who came to this country, who was invited, had to live through.
Yeah.
You know, people thought they probably didn't have anything in Jamaica, but a lot of those people was well made. They had good jobs, but they came to this country to help and rebuild the country, because it was known as Great Britain,
motherland, wasn't it?
The motherland.
Yeah.
And they came to help, and the treatment that they got wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But you know something, looking back at those community of people back in those days, they never complained.
Yeah.
They never complained. They never said I was hard done by. They just saw it as a duty. They worked, they brought the children up, and they did their best. They never complained, you know. And so today means for me to recognize those people and what they've been through, and to celebrate it, and hope that our generation learn from that, and our generation to come learn from that.
Yeah.
You know, and make a better life for themselves. And you know, and to go back a little bit, I would like the younger generations, even though they didn't know anything about it, to listen to what their parents got to say, and to respect what their grandparents have done and their great grandparents have done.
Do you want? Hi.
Sorry, sir, I have the mic. Take the mic.
It's Windrush Day today.
Psych!
Are you aware of Windrush Day? No, clearly not.
No.
Have a good day, yeah?
Windrush, yeah. Windrush? No, I haven't got to be in the Windrush.
Yeah, so you know, for our younger generation to sort of just have that little bit more respect for that, for their great grandparents and what they've done, you know, going forward. But apart from that, just hats off to those wonderful people.
Yeah.
They were brave. They came. They saw. They did. And now they've gone home to rest.
Yeah. That's such a beautiful story, and you've raised a lot of really fascinating points. One of which is the fact that the narrative is often people came here for a better life, which many people did, but it's not often mentioned that many people came here were worse off. They had better lives in the Caribbean.
Yes, they did.
You know, because I know my father spoke about, you know, what he was doing in the Caribbean. He came from a relatively well-off family.
Yeah.
He was a driver in the Caribbean, earning, I can't remember how much he said he was earning, but coming here saw a massive drop in income.
Oh, of course,
for
yes.
him, and a massive drop in living conditions. What's interesting for me, Melita, is that despite all of that, despite those conditions, despite the prejudices and the racism that your family, your parents, and that you would have experienced and encountered, you still have achieved so much. What do you put that down to?
I think, you know, everybody said that they had the best parents.
Yes.
But I know I had the best parents. Because my mum was a very quiet person.
Yeah.
My dad, a little bit fiery, but only if you upset him.
Yeah.
But I think coming from that generation, it taught you a lot. Taught you a lot to be resilient, and don't let things hold you back.
Yeah.
You know, don't let whatever has happened to you be at the forefront of your mind and think to yourself, well, I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Just carry on and be the best person that you can be. And I think that's what I've taken from my mum and dad. They never complain. So therefore, what am I going to complain about? Just get on with life. You know, because complaining is not going to make it any better.
Yeah.
You know, so just get on with it. And along the way, I think I've met some really nice people who saw something in me that I probably didn't see in myself. and that's helped me along the way, because, you know, in life, whatever you achieve, you cannot achieve it by yourself.
Yeah.
You know, there's always somebody else to thank for it.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of people to thank.
And that links in with what you said earlier about this community spirit, that even despite the poor social conditions, there was this energy, this spirit, this camaraderie that was pervasive amongst that generation. I mean, growing up, because you're first generation black descendant, how did you experience that sense of camaraderie and community?
Well, with the older generation, as you know, because if you're born in Jamaica, you know that you're brought up in an extended family.
Yeah.
And I think when I came to England in 1962, I find that the people that you knew and your parents knew, you had that same sort of living condition.
Yeah.
You know, they looked after your children.
Yeah.
You had to have respect for them. And we grew up in that sort of respectful environment. So therefore, you wouldn't go too far from what you experienced in your own family. So it was nice to have all those older people around who looked out for you.
Yeah.
You know, because there wasn't. Unfortunately, when I came, I didn't need a babysitter because I went straight to school. But there wasn't nurseries around at that time. So people that you knew and women who had young children, their friends looked after their children while they went to work. So you're brought up with that level of respect for the older generation. And, you know, and people like myself still carry it on today. You know, and it's still there.
So, am I correct in thinking that you were born here?
No, I was born in
Jamaica.
Born in Jamaica, yeah.
And then your parents came, and then...
Yeah.
So you would be what is described as a barrel child?
Yes, yes.
Because that's an interesting concept in itself.
Yeah.
So, you know, coming from the Caribbean, coming from Jamaica, how old were you, if you don't mind me asking, when you came over?
11.
11. So, you know, you're pretty grounded in Jamaica. You've got family there, been to school there, have all those experiences. How was it for you leaving this beautiful, warm, lush country to come to England?
Oh, it was a bit of a, what can I say? It was a bit of a wrench leaving my brothers and my sisters. But I really wanted to see my dad. I missed my dad because he came first. And the mum was only like a year in front of me. So I really missed my dad. But when I came, the culture shock was something completely different. And I just wanted to go back, you know, because I left somewhere where I had freedom. I got in from school. I had my grandparents' farm to run around. I had fresh fruits. I had everything, you know, the beautiful river and everything. And to find myself consuming one bedroom, you know, after school, it wasn't very nice. And the weather, it was so cold, and it really affected me. Yeah, it really affected me. So, but no. So when we see a little sunlight today, it's just reminiscent of the good old days back in the West Indies.
You want the sea breeze though?
No, we want that sea breeze.
I mean, I have to say, Windrush generation, those children that were left behind and came here, that was such a significant and massive transition to make. And it speaks to the breadth of this story. Yeah, that it's not just about the people that came, it's also about the people that were left behind, yes, which we don't often talk about.
And you know, you've mentioned that, and that is something massive, because when your parents have left to come to 5,000 miles away, which you don't really realize when you're a child. Yeah. But you know, just think of it, you might never see them again. Yes. And it happened in so many cases. Yeah. They never get the chance to go back and see those children. And the children who came to this country find themselves with another set of children who they cannot get on with. Yeah. You know. So it spoils a lot of family lives. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. And I suppose what it does actually as well is to show how incredible the achievements are and were of that generation and their children.
Oh, of course, yes.
Because you're overcoming so many obstacles in an environment that was actively hostile.
Oh my gosh, it must have been so difficult for them. So difficult, like you said, they've got to think of the children and what they've left in the West Indies. They've got to live in this country, pay rent, and all the other bills that goes with it, while at the same time trying to maintain the children who they've left behind. And the wages wasn't the best. Yeah. You know, it was very, very small. So can you just imagine trying to send money home for your children in Jamaica while looking after yourself in this country, while putting up with racism at work. Yeah. You know, so I know people talk about mental health now, and it's very prevalent now in our community. But those women and men suffered in silence back in those days. Yeah.
And I suppose what kept them from going over the edge was the fact that they were a close-knit community and could rely on each other and support each other.
Exactly. And that kept, you know, and kept the faith, and that's why a lot of churches sprung up around those times. Yeah. You know, so that they could have a sanctuary. Yeah. You know, to let it.
That's a fantastic word, actually, a sanctuary. Yeah. That's so important.
Yeah. It was, you know. Yes. So you know, here we are today.
Here we are today.
A beautiful day. So as you know, the heavens open up, and I'm sure they're looking down and they're thanking us for what we're doing, keeping it alive.
So, Melita, you just walked past the headquarters of Nottingham City Council.
Oh, yes.
And obviously you represented those civic roles. You know, how did it make you feel at the time being part of that whole sort of mechanism? You know, did it make you feel extreme pride and being able to represent the city and all that it offers?
It certainly did, because you know something. You find yourself in roles and situations that you didn't even dream of, you know. And to find myself being a councillor in the city that I came to over 60 years ago, and ended up being a figurehead, so to speak, as a sheriff and Lord Mayor of Nottingham, it meant so much to me, you know. And my only regret is that my parents wasn't around to see that. You know, they would have been so proud. And I'm very proud for myself and for them, you know.
And we're
very proud of you as well. I mean, you kind of trailblaze the path for future people to follow, really. And it's so important that our Windrush generation are, you know, acknowledged to provide that, be at that vanguard, you know, so we kind of behind them and stand on their shoulders, as we always say.
And yes, and there's been a few before me, you know, and I'm really, really proud to be in those wonderful companies of people who've gone before, who's been civics in the past and done some wonderful job in the city to make it what it is today. Because you know they've had to put up with a lot. Yeah. You know, they had to break down a lot of barriers and gone through a lot of doors to be where we are today. You know,
and we honour them, and we honour you, and you know, thank you for all of your contributions. The mere fact that you achieve those positions, I know, has been inspirational for so many people. You're an example for the younger generation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if you know, and just hope they follow, you know, because these things are out there for all of us. It's not just for a certain section of community or society. You can do it, you know, just all you have to do. I always say to young people, you know, the thing that you've got most of all in life is that name that you're given when you're born. Protect it and be proud of it, because you never know where it's going to lead you. Yeah. You know, very protected of your name.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, we're still walking. We're close now to the library, where we're going to see the exhibition. We're going to see your front room, Jeremy.
Yes, yeah. I don't really have a front room anymore, more a living room.
But
you know what?
People don't call their front rooms anymore,
no, not really. Yeah. And you know what's funny about our front room when we was growing up in the 70s and the 80s?
Yeah.
Is that there was only a couple of people who were allowed in there.
Yes. I know.
A priest or insurance man. I don't know why the man who come to collect the insurance from court we had to put him in the front room. Yeah. Most of the majority of the time in the household, nobody could go in that room.
No. You couldn't eat in there for starters.
Eat? You must be joking. You couldn't even step foot in there. You know, sometimes when our parents were out, we'd sneak in and sit up, and that was a real rebel act, you know.
It was.
To sneak in and sip handy, to set it
with the plastic cover.
With the plastic cover. Yeah. And then my brother, I used to think he was so naughty, would play the records. Lord have mercy.
Oh my God.
If my father ever found out that he was playing
I'll tell you a story about that. My dad, because my dad was a massive music fan. He had a huge record collection, bless him. And he had this stack of hi-fi, you know, amps and speakers and tape recorders and all sorts of things. But he used to set it in a certain way, like he had an equalizer, and he had everything set on 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, you know, the volume. So he would know if any of us touched it. But what we used to do, this is where we developed our photogenic memory, because we used to have to remember all the settings, play the music, and then restore everything back. So my dad didn't know that we used to use his hi-fi, but that used to be his. It's like an altar, you know. He used to worship this sound system. It's amazing.
It's like myself and my brother, you know, because my dad had the radiogram and the Blue Spot radiogram.
Yes.
And just like your dad, he just loved music. He used to buy a record every single Friday. So what me and my brother used to do when my dad isn't there. Yeah, so what me and my brother used to do when my dad wasn't at home, we used to play the records. And you know how they do it now, where they put the finger on the record and spin it?
Yes.
We used to do it then. We didn't know we was spinning a record. We didn't know we was creating music.
You was a DJ.
We didn't know it. So we used to spin these records and let them go really fast and then slow down. And then when my dad's coming, we used to switch it off and sit down and fold our arms. We couldn't touch it. If he knew, he'd go mad. Oh my gosh.
The others are across the road waving their flags.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They went to get a cheeky coffee.
Look at them sitting there. Oh, God.
I suppose they deserve a few minutes walking break.
Absolutely.
You don't think so? It wasn't making any great pace.
Oh, gosh. This was a young one.
We can see this new building.
Yeah, it's just there.
Glass and red brick.
It's a beautiful building. To be honest with you, today will be the first day that I actually go into this new library. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the exhibition. But this time we can go in the front room.
Yes. Can I say, part of this exhibition, I'm so proud to let you know that the Aladdin paraffin lamp belongs to me.
Oh, amazing! Amazing!
My dad bought that for me from a little bedroom back in the 60s, the late 60s.
Oh, I'll have to definitely look out for that.
Yeah, the Aladdin paraffin lamp.
But we can almost predict what's going to be in the front room because all Caribbean, it doesn't matter where you came from in the Caribbean, all Caribbean front rooms had to have certain key things. So we're going to see likely the plastic on the settee, the crochet over the settee,
the fish,
the cockerel, the picture on the wall, probably of the
footprints, maybe
footprints or Christ is ahead of this house, or the kind of Spanish-looking lady looking quite sultry. You're gonna see the gram, definitely. You're gonna see the gram with the records.
The cabinet with all the chats.
How about the plastic pineapple ice?
Oh yes.
What, and the bucket, that's it, the ice bucket, Now, I've never been to Melita's front room or Jeremy's front room, trust me, but we all know. We all
know what's going to be in there.
But it's going to be lovely to reminisce.
And the crochet, the wood crochet and the chairs.
And the thing is, if you were ever lucky enough to sit on the settee, it was so uncomfortable because you had the plastic on it. You'd be sweating, you'd be itching, but you better not complain.
Yeah, you can't take it off
You're lucky enough to get in that front room, never mind sit up and sofa. But it's going to be lovely to reminisce and remember.
But it was amazing though, wasn't it?
It was
amazing.
It was.
There might even be a doll.
Yeah.
Yes. That's amazing.
Have you ever tried crochet yourself?
No. Knitting, I've done some knitting. But crochet, no.
I tried knitting, not very good at it. Tried crochet, not very good at it either.
Oh, got the crochet
on the rear seat of the car. You have two crocheted pillows.
Yes.
My dad used to.
Oh my goodness me, I tell you.
So, wow. Clive maybe wants to tell us a little bit about the Central Library. Yes, just a suggestion. It's not for me to sort of.
Yeah, sure. So we're now approaching the new Central Library of Nottingham, and it really is a really nice feature. If you haven't had the chance to come down to it, I really would encourage you to do so. Obviously, a lot of work is happening in this area with regards to the development of the Broadmarsh complex. As you can see there, a lot of work is going on, and Central Library has become a bit of a feature, really, in the starting of that. And we're very honoured and delighted that we've got the Front Room Windrush exhibition in the library. It's going to be here for a week, so it's a great opportunity to pop in. And we're actually on our way there now. We're going to see the front room and the curator, and it's a wonderful opportunity to connect, as we were talking earlier, with the Windrush generation.
Quick question: are we allowed with recording equipment inside the library?
There's only one way to find out.
Let's do this.
This is the man who says to me, "Ask for forgiveness," and then ask the question.
To seek forgiveness and to ask for permission.
Yeah, you know the story. So so perhaps discreetly, someone should go in and sort of and say, "After all, it is a library." So. I think there are concepts of a library which mean one watches one's voice.
I hope the cameraman's going to be okay going through the rotating.
Okay. Great. Great. Yeah, we're okay. As long as we don't film members of the public. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing anyway, yeah.
So we're going to make our way to the front room.
Not your fault.
Let's go to the front room. Let's do it. Let's do some kind of personal joke.
Yeah.
You've been here before, Mark?
No.
So we're just entering the Central Library and we're working our way up to the front room exhibition that is open for 1 week here at Central Library. And as we were discussing a few minutes ago, you know, it'd be interesting to make predictions about what sort of artifacts and memorabilia will be there.
We won't do the Conservative Party and have a bet. We won't.
No, we don't do bets. And then have to have an investigation afterwards.
Not being political, no.
So I think being a library, we may have to be a little bit ish. I'm not quite sure actually how it works. But here we go. So, what do you think about the space? First time you've been in this space. We've got Mr. Freddie Kofe live. Gospel concert tomorrow. I think he's just here getting some idea. Maybe stealing a few lyrics to sing tomorrow, as you do in the public library. Do you like this space then? Do you like this space?
The building is beautiful. The space is with eating areas where you can buy food and drink. You know, some of for me food and drink, so that's a reason for me to come to the library.
How you doing, man?
But
Alice,
I'm really, really glad that they've, because I know a lot of cities.
But the format of libraries had to change their
Yes, yes, because with social media, technology and whatever, had to change. But we are, you can see there's okay. I'm gonna have to bring the plastic. I'm gonna have to bring the ground, the cabinet, or the fancy. Whoa, me tied you. The 33s. Only royalty, and even royalty. You have to be a special type of royalty.
Royalty and the insurance man.
Special time, just to poke your head round the door and have a look.
Now, these people would know as suitcases. We call them grip. And your drink, so that when people come, part of the hospitality is you offer them drinks.
We'll just ask Shirley if we can.
Dinner set.
Yeah.
That is exactly what my grandmother had. I nearly teared up as I came up here to have a look at it. Yes, in that cabinet.
Yeah. Right, we're gonna walk through, and I can say about the paraffin lamp. I don't know anyone of my generation who burned their bottom on one of those paraffin
or nearly got killed by the fumes. Yes. That happened to me several times.
Yes.
Warm it. Yeah.
Let's have a look. Let's go in.
Yeah.
Right, they're cool, they are. Because remember at that time, most houses if any, didn't have central heating.
No.
You had your coal fire. If you were lucky, you might have a little electric fire.
Yes.
If you were lucky.
Yeah.
I remember at my house they had one, not electric, dad would sit in front of it so nobody else could get the heat.
Yes. So true.
Nobody else could get the heat.
So true.
So we relied on our paraffin heater to keep us warm.
I put a light in.
Wow.
I remember you used to have to... This is Mills.
That is amazing.
I put the light in there so it would flicker.
Then we've got our sewing machine, because a lot of our parents and grandparents, most of them, they weren't a seamstress.
Yes.
Your stone's ginger wine.
Yes. It was
Yes,
status.
your stone's ginger wine.
Because it means I've reached.
Your baby sham, your cherry brandy.
Yes.
Your store bars.
Yeah.
Had to have
Definitely.
it. And then especially at Christmas time, this would be rolled out. Your cabinet now. Oh my goodness.
This
oh,
one.
I mean
the bar cabinet. Yeah. And only the best stuff.
Only the best. You know something? My parents had crockery, glasses, never. You know?
Never, ever.
But
only on special occasion. Hence, the wedding. Special occasion, so that's when the peach is out now.
And that was another thing, when you went to weddings, each table had to have some fruit on the table. Yeah. You know? And looking at it, I think an outsider looking at it would think that this is probably a bit over the top. But for us, it holds so many significant memories.
And if you talk to our parents, they can remember how much they had to save up for that one item, how much they had to save up for this sewing machine.
Yeah.
They can remember because they knew it was a partner draw.
Yes. Oh my
that enabled
goodness.
them to buy it.
So tell the people, because a lot of them not going to know about partner.
Oh my God. Partner was like a savings. And let's say you have 5 people and everybody gives £5. 1 week, one person gets the
draw.
The draw.
Yeah.
So we'd get the whole amount. The next week it's somebody else's turn, and it would go all the way around until it came back to the last person, and then you add the option of opting in again or coming out of it, and that's how people got their deposits for their houses.
Yeah. And really, when you think about it, it was the precursor to the credit union.
Yes.
Because at that time, the banks weren't lending money to Caribbean people, even though they were hardworking, in full employment. They were deemed to be uncreditworthy.
Yes.
Saved to get money, and I think it also engendered community spirit.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Because one of the things I can recall, and a lot of people of my age can recall, is that growing up, we felt safe.
Yeah, and we stuck together.
We stuck together.
We stuck together. These were the days when if the insurance man was coming every week to pick up his insurance money and mark up the book because it was left on the...
Yeah.
And it wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
It wasn't an issue.
Yeah. And, you know, I know that I couldn't do anything and get away with it, no, darling.
No. And people see you on the street, have a telephone, and they knew, and they heard what you did. And they would make it bigger.
And, you know, back in the day, if something happened at school with a teacher, don't think so you're going...
Don't let police come here to me.
Oh, my goodness, I tell you. But, you know, this is just so nostalgic to that generation and how it was back in the day. Oh, my goodness.
And this isn't everything.
No.
There's more. There's more to come.
Oh, that's fantastic. So this is going to be here for a week, isn't it?
This is here for a week. I
don't know where we're going. The Black Ballet Company was here.
Oh, wow.
And it was absolutely, it was about and then trying to find somewhere to live, and then the wind.
This is something that you've created. This.
Yes, yes. He saved as well. One of my mum's friends, her husband had passed away, and she had to go and live with her daughter and son-in-law.
Yeah.
And she can only take a certain amount of things. And I knew what I wanted anyway. So I inquired about it and I got it. But when I got there, a lot of the stuff was in a skip.
Oh, that's a shame.
And I just took it out.
Oh, thank God. I was going to say.
I took it out.
Yes.
I took it out because I know the value of it. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to show my children's children what, my grandparents had. So,
yeah. Fantastically,
Thank
I have
you.
to say, I brought my home when I grew up as a child. The cabinet. It's. I'm just looking there to find the biscuits and stuff that would be in the cabinet that we would.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thank you. I didn't know you was going to interview me. Me never been no. Would I put on the makeup on?
Would I put on your clothes?
You can take me to have my breakfast him in the faint way.
We had that in our house.
The cabinet. Yeah. In actual fact, she had two cabinets. She had two. She had two cabinets, and I took both of them. And a lot of this stuff is on Facebook. That's where I picked up the grit. You see the grit, the bar, the safe, Facebook Market, the Hoover that I'm picking up, the sweeper, Facebook Market. So there was this last night, Facebook Market. On the table.
Yeah. When I go for collect the drink in the evening, I have to drink out. Yeah. Oh my God.
So you helped to put this together?
No. I think she was telling me she get a lot of these things.
Yeah, you can talk at the mic, So just let me know what involvement you've had with this today.
Me personally, I've not had much. I've just turned up.
Come on, you're too humble.
I've turned up.
You're here supporting and representing. That's important.
That's why I wanted to come back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
And have you got any fond memories of your parents' generation or your grandparents?
Grandparents, yeah, man.
Yeah.
A lot of them. I guess my nan's still alive, thankfully.
Yes.
So the front room is pretty much
intact.
The same. We don't even use the front room no more.
Oh, we were laughing and joking about that.
Yeah. But as soon as I walked, the cups and plates that don't get used.
But it's so illogical, isn't it? Because a lot of us grew up in smaller households. The home was small.
Yeah.
So to take out a whole room just for special occasions, is. How would you do that?
Yeah.
But that's what we were raised and brought up on.
Yeah. and I think it's good. I'm thankful that I was able to experience a room like this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd worry, well, not worry, but I feel sorry for like generations after me. It really was.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And just listening to the music and looking at the furniture and everything, it just brings back.
It brings it back, doesn't it? Just right back.
even the little things. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and the trouble is because I'm more in that era, the paraffin lamp, I had the cabinet, the curtains. Yes, no, it's not the ottoman, it's a trunk.
Oh, we used to call it ottoman in our house.
We call it ottoman as well.
That is the ottoman, that is the trunk.
The trunk.
And in that trunk you'll find sheets, you'll find clothes, and they've been in there for years and years and years, and they've never been used.
Well, in our household, we couldn't open that. It was sacred.
Yeah.
But that's where Mum and Dad used to.
Over the years and never used.
Yeah.
And you'd find a lot of people, when the family look in there.
Yes, the paraffin lamp.
Paraffin lamp, yes, my dad bought me that.
Do you think that's still working? Is it still operative?
I think
I wouldn't like to try it.
No, if you get, it's still got the wick in it, but it needs a new one.
Okay.
So if you had like paraffin and stuff like that, it would work. Because I tell you.
Oh, wow.
Yes, they used to cook on it as well. Multi-purpose lamp. It's because so many people had to use the same. You want to do your dinner. If somebody else is using the cooker, you would cook.
And those things wouldn't be allowed in the household these days with health and
yes,
safety and climate change and
And the
God knows
nicest
what.
thing about that, Jeremy, we know as kids when you go to school because of the paraffin, we used to say we got paraffin perfume because it was clothes would stink of the paraffin. That's exactly what it would have been, only a paraffin, yes.
Fantastic, fantastic memories.
Great memories, I tell you. Oh my.
I'm just going to ask Reverend Clive to come forth and just to maybe have some final reflection and some words and some remarks just to end this particular broadcast today.
Yeah, sure. So this has been a tremendous celebration on Windrush Day, from marking the raising of the Windrush flag at the council house, doing a little bit of a walk and talk, and enjoying the sunshine, heading down towards a great new complex known as the Binks Yard, where we part of the gospel service, 2:30 on Sunday. Everyone is welcome. And then finally ending up at the new Central Library, where there is this replicas and invoking so many memories of the Windrush generation. I really hope that you've enjoyed our broadcast. Who's been behind the scenes, behind the camera as it were. We've done a tremendous job. And let's continue to honor this generation and have a great rest of the day. Take care.
Thank you.